طوبى للباب هو حق الرقيا تبني صرحا.
Here's the thing almost nobody stops to notice. The accusation shows up already wrapped in a modern word, and that word does all the work before you've been shown a single fact. So don't argue inside the frame you're handed. Look at the frame itself, because the real question was never about one marriage in the 7th century. It's a much bigger question, and it applies to everybody. Can you take the rules of your own time and stamp them backwards onto a world that never lived by them? That move has a name. Historians call it presentism. It's the mistake of judging the past as if the people in it were supposed to already know your standards. And in actual history, it's treated as a rookie error, one of the first habits you get trained out of. Because the past isn't just the present with worse plumbing. It's a genuinely different world, different lifespans, different structures, different ideas about what a person even is at a given age. Take the word sitting right in the middle of this whole thing: child. We act like the line between child and adult is just a fact of nature with a number bolted on. It isn't. People who study this for a living, Neil Postman wrote a whole book on it, The Disappearance of Childhood, argue that childhood as this long, protected, sharply walled-off stage of life is actually pretty modern. It shows up with printing, with mass schooling, with the industrial world. Mary Lewis, who studies this in actual human remains, says it flat out. You can't take our modern idea of childhood and paste it onto the past. That clean, bright line with a legal age stapled to it, that's ours. It's not universal, and it's not ancient. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. And I mean uncomfortable for everybody, whatever you believe. What that accusation points at was basically everywhere in the Old World. Rome set the marriage age for girls at 12. You see early marriage all through the Bible. Medieval European royalty, Persia. And in the Christian West, in Europe and America, the age of consent sat at 10 or 12 in a lot of places right up into the 1800s. So here's the question to sit with. Do you call the Roman emperors pedophiles? The figures in the Bible? The medieval kings that Western countries were literally founded under? Most people never do. The word only ever seems to come out for one man and goes quiet for the entire world he was standing in. And the second that happens, it stops being an argument. It's a word picked up and aimed at one target, while everyone else who lived the exact same way gets a pass. And the word itself doesn't even fit. Pedophile is a modern clinical term for a specific psychological disorder. Taking that and firing it at a marriage that was public, arranged by families, and completely ordinary for its time and place, that's not a moral judgment, it's just the wrong tool. You've grabbed a diagnosis built for one world and thrown it at another one where none of its assumptions apply. Now, there's a real pushback here, and it's a good one, so let's actually deal with it. Someone will say, hang on, presentism can't mean nothing in history is ever wrong. Some things were wrong, even when everyone accepted them, slavery, for instance, and that's true. But watch where it leads. If you're going to say certain things are wrong in every era, no matter the context, then you have to take that exact same standard to all of history. Your own country's founders, your own scriptures, the people on your own money, and almost none of them come out clean. So there are really only two honest places to stand. Either context matters when you judge the past, and if it matters across the board, and singling out one man collapses. Or context never matters, in which case you've just condemned nearly every historical figure anyone admires, all at once, right along with the one you were aiming at. What you don't get to do is run the rule hard on one person and quietly switch it off for everyone else. That's not a principle. That's a grudge wearing the costume of one. And to be crystal clear about what this is and isn't, this isn't a claim about how anyone should live now. It's not a blueprint for the present. The point is much simpler, and it's about honesty. You can't lift a person out of their own century, judge them by rules written centuries after they died, apply that rule to them and no one else, and then call the result a moral argument. So here's the test, for anyone, believer, atheist, whoever. That word you're reaching for, use it honestly, use it on Rome, use it on the figures in the Bible, use it on the medieval kings, on the Western laws sitting at 10 and 12 into the 1800s. If it fits one man in the 7th century, it fits all of them. No exceptions. And if you won't say it about all of them, If it only ever comes out for one name and goes silent for everyone else who lived the same way, then you've already answered your own question. It was never a standard. It was a standard of one, and a rule that applies to one person and nobody else isn't a principle. It's a grudge in the costume of one. Either your standard covers all of history, or it covers none of it. What it can't do is cover one man alone.